twilight of Earth's great civilizations, we were chosen. Some were selected for their skills, others for their strength, and some by luck. The great ships were the embodiment of each nation's ingenuity, courage, and faith. And they sent us to the stars in search of a new home. As we raced skyward, we carried aloft the hopes and dreams of those left behind. Our journey through deep space was long and quiet. And it is finally over. Now we look upon our new world for the first time. On these alien shores, our destiny waits. A new beginning for mankind.
Okay, I'll say it. The whole premise was pretty cliche in that cinematic. But, cliche aside, if you don't have a lump in your throat after watching a father say goodbye to his daughter in hopes she can find a better life in the unknown vastness of space than he could possibly offer her in the ruined husk of a world in which he will most likely live, toil, and die, then something very important inside you has withered away. Right, okay. Excerpt from Colony Archives, personal log, Hutama. When I think of the wonders of Earth, I become lost in the thought of possibility. What new materials will our hands find? Will they be harder than diamonds or softer than silk? Whatever they are, we will use them to make wondrous things, more amazing than we have ever dreamed. And with that, let us begin the game proper.
Hello, I am the Advanced Integration
hello, Advisor.
Resource, or Advisor. I am equipped to introduce you to the basic systems that will guide your development
Fantastic.
on this new planet. Additionally, I can provide strategic advice based on situations you encounter. How would you like me to proceed?
Well, I have listened to Advisor before, so I'm tempted to turn Advisor off. But I will leave Advisor on new to Beyond Earth, just so that the initial systems are explained again for the sake of my viewers. Right, let's, no, we're not going to have full guidance. We'll just have advice only, I think. Okay, what are we going to say? This is landfall.
Select a suitable location for our people to make planetfall. This will be the site of our first great city.
Very
Select
well.
a plot within the red border to land.
Okay, well, honestly, I prefer to have mountains. Thank you. I will select a point. So this has got a hill. Forest, grassland. I'm not sure if hills... I haven't actually checked that when I was testing out the game, but I'm assuming hills give a defensive bonus as they do in most other Civilization games. I can already see there's a bit of miasma around. That is bad. At least until much later. If you start to kind of, you know, you're all harmonious with the planet and you learn to live with it rather than against it, then miasma can become good, but initially it's always going to be bad. We have got some fiber here, which is a basic resource we'll be able to develop. Got a river. We're going to be landing on the river, or right next to it rather, so we can make use of this as a trade and a trade line between our own cities. Got some floatstone down there, which comes into the game much later on. I've not really played around with floatstone at all myself, but we're going to go here. I think that is going to give us the best defensive position for our city. This canyon here, I'm fairly certain we can't do anything with that, but there may be technologies that might open that up. Firaxis. Well done there, Firaxis. Very subtle. Freeland? Oh my lord, really? I'm not sure about that. I think we're going to have to change that right away. I don't want my people thinking they're free. No, we need to change. Freeland shall become something else. Let's think. I guess I'm going to be cliche and use towns and places that I have lived in my past. We'll go with Sanghanith. That'll be the first city that we found. Alright, especially because it's on a hill. That makes a little bit more sense. Right, 5 turns until border growth. It looks like we're going to be growing down towards the river. That's fine. Let's return to the map first and see what we have to do. We have got an explorer unit. Our city is fairly defensible by itself, so we don't need to worry too much about that. And there we go. Our coastal survey has already started to bear fruit. We can see a couple of tiny little islands on there, a smaller, almost Australian-sized continent there, even though Australia is actually enormous. A large, huge continent there, and then we're on probably the second largest continent on this planet. Couple of little islands dotted around. Okay, this is an interesting start. That one's got a little land-bound lake. Okay, right then. We should be... I would be surprised if we get someone else starting on this island, but then, again, we have got 8 players, so I'm going to have to prepare for that. There aren't neutral cities the way they were in Civilization 5, though they do start springing up later, but they don't quite work in the same way. We'll cover them when we see them. Now, we're going to avoid the miasma first. Let's head out this way. Aha, there we go. We have spotted a resource pod. You have discovered a resource pod. Sending a unit to investigate may yield usable materials. Basically, these are like ancient ruins. Only not quite as many possible outcomes from it as ruins, because it's kind of been split into 2 things: resource pods and excavation sites. Now, as for our worker, they can immediately construct a plantation, which is going to give us 2 food, 2 production, and 1 energy. That's actually pretty good. We'll go with that. We need to choose a production. We can go for Old Earth Relics, which will give us +2 culture in this city. We're already... Actually, we'll go into Singhan so we can see everything. It's already producing 3. 1 from buildings, 1 from other source. I'm not sure what the other source is. Perhaps because it is my capital city, maybe. If we get culture, that's going to speed things up, but it'll also open up virtues later on. They are really important. Or we could go for a clinic, or possibly a soldier. The clinic isn't necessary just yet, because we've got plenty of health. The Old Earth Relic will help us advance pretty quickly, so we're going to go with the Old Earth Relic, I think. Next, choose a research. Now, this is the tech web. Ah, there we are. Fantastic.
Technologies come in 2 types, branches and leaves. Branches represent broader technological ideas and cost less research.
Okay.
Leaves are more specific and are more expensive.
Very well, thank you very much. Let us go down here. Now, as you can see, there's a lot more detail when you zoom in, but you can just get most of the important detail from just hovering over stuff. But I prefer the more zoomed in level, honestly. Now, the purple lines show us where we can get to, what we can research right now. The grey lines further out, they are locked until we've made further discoveries. Now, we've got habitation. Research allows the clinic and old earth buildings. Allows worker, explorer, and soldier units. Now, we can go for pioneering, which we could have started with. This will be 27 turns for us to get currently. It would allow us to make colonists, trade convoys, trade vessels, and the trade depot. You can also go for planetary survey, which will allow us to have worker barges. That just means that our worker unit can move onto sea tiles and build things like fishing things and stuff like that, as per Civ 5, though in this is coral, algae, that sort of thing. Also allows land units to embark across water. That's all land units. Or we can go for a general technology in engineering, physics, chemistry, genetics, or ecology. Our advisors are advising that we go... Well, military advisor says we should go for engineering. That would immediately unlock the combat rover, the thorium reactor, repair facility, and reveal titanium. Science advisor saying we should go for genetics, which would open up the farmer lab. Or farm lab. No, farmer lab, it was. I was right the first time. I shouldn't second guess myself. Gives us +2 health. Pretty useful. Or the Cyto Nursery. +1 health, +1 science, and +1 food from marsh. Our trade advisor, or economic advisor, is obviously going for ecology and wants the miasmic repulsor, so we can get rid of miasma. The vivarium, which is +2 food, and an additional +1 food from all desert tiles, and the ultrasonic fence. Now that is very useful for keeping some of the nastier aliens away from your cities. But initially, I don't think we're going to go for chemistry. Initially, I think we will actually go for pioneering, and we'll get the ability to make a new city as soon as possible. Right. Victories updated. New updates in the victory log.
This may be helpful.
Okay. The quest log shows all active and completed quests, as well as each quest objective. Check your quest log frequently for quest updates. We have no quests. Now, quests are brand new, but they are really cool. They basically allow you to further customize most buildings, some situations, basically customizing your culture a little bit more to suit your particular playstyle. So, for example, there are quests for things like the thorium reactor. Now, I might choose a different outcome from different civilizations. Thus, my thorium reactors will do different things for my civilization. Most of the time, they will keep their basic function, but they'll just gain one of two, or sometimes they can be branching sort of options further up down. But they will have different effects, and that can really, really play into the game once you enter sort of mid and late game. Those early choices count a lot. There are 5 victories. We have Emancipation. We left Earth with the goal of finding a new home for our people. Little did we know that our trials would transform us, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Yes, we have found a home, but with it, we have found so much more. We have charted the unknown frontier. It is time to complete our mission and return to Earth. We have evolved beyond the petty squabbles which forced us to leave our world behind. It is time to turn our attentions homeward, to Earth. Not to rejoin them, but to liberate them from their trifling, unenlightened existence. Before we can begin, we must re-establish contact with Earth. Our best hope is to focus our research towards advanced orbital infrastructure, through which we shall be able to send faster-than-light communication by launching a laser-comm satellite. Once this has been accomplished, we will be able to move forward with our plans. Emancipation, from what I understand, is you go back and basically conquer Earth to reintegrate them into your much more advanced civilization. Domination. This one should be obvious. Our Mother Earth was plagued by war and strife, by cruelty, by suffering. Even here on this world, these sorrows pursue us. Our enemies abound, and they will never relent while they believe we are vulnerable. We must be strong if we are to survive, vigilant if we are to preserve our security and the future of our way of life. The only certain way to safeguard our new home is to become the undisputed masters of it. You must conquer the capital city of every other faction on the planet. Only then, with all rival nations eradicated or united under our banner, will peace truly be assured. Contact. Since arriving on this planet, we have found evidence of a previous civilization. We know almost nothing of them, only that they existed, and in that lies the great mystery. What happened to them? We believe the answer can be found in something they call the signal. While evidence of the signal is abundant, it is fractured, scattered. We'll need to find a complete instance if we're to make anything of it. From what we've gathered, there are several ways to find the signal data. We must complete at least 2 of them to reveal the signal. With an explorer, create an expedition on progenitor ruins. The chance of finding a copy of the signal among these relics is slim, but possible. Launch a deep space telescope orbital unit. It can take many turns, but eventually it will isolate the signal as it travels to the planet. Or research the transcendental equation. Through it, we can piece together fragments and reconstruct the signal. I have no idea what this is, and it might be quite interesting to go for that one because of that fact. Transcendence. Now, this is the most Alpha Centauri of them all. We found something. Something unbelievable. This planet is home to a superorganism of such extraordinary scope. It is essentially the planet itself. Not only that, but it appears to be eliciting signs of dormant cognitive capacity. Is it possible to communicate with a planet? If so, what wonders would become known to us? We must explore this further, if only to better understand our world. In order to communicate with this planet, we will need to develop cognitive link, something far beyond our current capabilities. If we are to follow this path, we must pool our efforts towards the research of nanorobotics, transgenics, and swarm intelligence. Only then can we begin to explore the vast mental capabilities of the planet we call home. So, yes, that's very much like one of the Alpha Centauri possible endings. And then the Promised Land. When we left Earth, we swore an oath to find a new world and bring about the salvation of mankind. Despite all we have endured, we have held firm, our people ever close to our hearts. Through our endless struggle and vigilance, we have tamed this planet in the name of humanity. Our earthbound brethren have waited long enough. It is time we complete our mission and delivered them to the stars. Long has there been silence between ourselves and Earth. Before we can begin our plans, we must first re-establish contact. Something we have yet been able to achieve. Haven't yet. We must focus our research towards an advanced orbital infrastructure. By achieving this and launching a lasercom satellite into orbit, we could be able to make contact with Earth. So these two, Emancipation and the Promised Land, both share at least the first step. The same first step. So that'll be interesting to see. Now, we don't see any of these. These are basically all of the other players. Because they haven't made planetfall yet, we are the first. We don't know who they are. We do, really, because there are literally only 8 players. So, as they show up, these will populate, and it'll show us how close they are to any of the victories. And there we go. So that is our first turn. Let us see what the second turn has to offer. There we go. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Mandira. Who is this?
The temple doors of the Protectorate are open.
Fantastic. The prophets have led you to us. Our prayers greet you, our friend. Well, you know, I'm okay with us being friends for now. You are quite close. Damn it. But that's our first, well, I'm not going to say enemy, our first competitor. We are all human, after all. Resource pods were sent ahead of our journey and contained valuable material from old Earth. Send a unit to the resource pod to see what it contains. Thank you very much. If you wish to communicate with another colony, you may click on their city banner as a shortcut to talk with them. Thank you again. Now, these first videos are probably going to be fairly full of me just explaining the various systems initially, so the turns will probably be a little bit slower than normal. Ooh, alien nest discovered. With alien wolf beetles on it. That is not so good. You have discovered an alien nest. Alien lifeforms will spawn from this location while it exists. Now, you can approach this. You can think of this as a barbarian camp. And you can approach barbarian camps, or in this case, alien nests, in one of 2 ways. You can make it a priority to get rid of it, so that you just remove the threat forever. Or, if you're fairly confident with your combat capabilities, you can let it continue to spawn aliens so that you can continue to grind your troops' experience level up on said aliens. Or, I guess there is a third hidden option, depending on your outlook on life, and you can just leave them the hell alone and not bother them. It's their planet. We're just visiting. Right, I'm going to move this way. There we are.
This may be helpful.
Planet is littered with strange artifacts. Use the explorer's expedition ability to investigate the artifacts. Resource pod. You found
Instruction on the unit which can launch into orbit. To
Oh,
launch it,
fantastic.
select the unit and click its action button. Once launched,
Okay.
it will have an area effect on the tiles beneath it until it deorbits.
Very well. Thank you very much for that. Oh my lord, so many things.
You have a new quest available. Throughout the game, your actions will trigger different quests
Yes.
that can unlock
I've covered
bonuses
this,
for you.
advisor. Weren't you listening?
Open the quest log to see what's available to you, and check back often.
Maybe I shouldn't have left you turned on. Maybe I need to just quietly turn you off and just pretend you were off all along. Right, resource pod search. Inside the resource pod, you found a basic satellite, still intact, and enough rocket fuel for it to reach escape velocity. A free solar collector is now ready for launch in the city of Singhenith. Oh, that's fantastic. I wasn't expecting that. Okay. Launch orbital unit mode. Now, we've got a satellite that is currently sat there. What we're looking at is the actual satellite. It's basically a launch pad. We can click on this button to go into orbital view. And in orbital view, we can see any satellites that are there.
Effect areas of units that are in orbit.
Indeed.
Effect areas cannot overlap, so it is useful to plan.
That is very, very important to keep in mind.
This also shows your launch coverage area. An orbital unit must be launched over a tile with coverage.
Indeed.
Coverage can be extended by constructing city buildings.
Thank you very much. Now this is our launch area. We can launch this unit anywhere in it. But you notice the pattern we've got there. We can launch it on the edge. So the area of effect, it doesn't need to be within the launch coverage. Just the center of it, the actual satellite itself. Now, it's very important to note that this area that the effect is going to be, as it said there, it can't overlap with any other satellites. So you need to be aware of that. If you're going to launch a lot of satellites, you kind of need to play a sort of Tetris to make sure that they can all fit. But since we're only got these areas, and this satellite will give us +1 energy on tiles you own, any city in range also receives 20% additional energy overall. If we place it here, it'll cover every tile that we can currently work, plus our city will gain an extra 20% on its energy income. So we've currently got 5, we are now up to 8. That is not bad. And now we can see the satellite as well, and we can see the area that it's affecting. If we go into Singhenith, we'll notice that all of these tiles are now producing 1 extra energy. This one can't be worked, at least I don't think there's a unit that can. Again, there could be technology that will allow for that. But all of these tiles now produce 1 extra energy, which is fantastic news for us. Inside the resource pod, blah, 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 blah. Quest updated. Alien nest. Get rid of you. Let's check out the quest log. Gifts from home. Our sponsor had the foresight to send resource pods ahead of our expedition to be waiting when we arrived. Parts to a large research instrument have been found in this pod. The other pieces are probably around here somewhere. Find 2 resource pods. 1 found. So if we find another resource pod, we will probably get this research instrument that they are talking about. But that is it for this turn again. Now we've got a couple of other buttons down here. Quests and victories. Upgrade units. That will come into play much later on. Covert ops, again, later on once we've actually got spies. And I'll cover it at that time. Diplomacy and virtues. We'll cover diplomacy now, I guess. We've got our ally over yonder and ourselves here. It says you, just in case you've forgotten who you are. And score. Well, damn. You're already beating me. How? Why? What? You started with more technology, you cheatsos. Why? I dislike this. But you can also check your deal history as well, which is quite useful. But we're going to move on to the next turn. I can't believe they're already beating me. They've only just landed. I was here a whole turn before them. The swines. Is that a resource pod? Oh, no. Is that possibly... I'm not actually sure what that is. Now, the thing with the aliens to keep in mind is that generally they're not going to bother you unless you get in their face. They're not going to go out of their way not to bother you, but they're not going to go out of their way to bother you either. So early on, a policy of minimal interaction is probably the best thing for you. Okay. One of our competitors has landed on the enormous supercontinent. I believe that's the African Union. Hello.
The African people greet you.
Oh, I greet you too. You're very polite. I like you. Mind you, our other competitor was very polite. They're polite pretty much until you go to war. Right. Well, I'm also happy for us to remain neutral, so there's nothing really more for me to say there. Right, a unit needs orders, and that is our explorer. We've got 2 relic sites. This is fantastic. Advisor, I recommend you construct an expedition here. This location has an artifact on it, which awards a lucrative one-time bonus that can only be retrieved with an expedition. Now, this is what I meant between the difference between the drop pods and the expedition sites. It's kind of like the ruins have been split into 2 distinct entities. For the most part, the resource pods are more like the ruin sites than the expedition sites, because the expedition sites can actually lead to quests. They're much more interesting. But we need to build a expedition here for 5 turns, and protect the expedition. Now, we've got nothing to protect it with, so we're just going to take our chances. But you don't really want to do this somewhere where it's a little bit hostile, because this can very quickly kill you. So we'll begin that turn. The expedition. So there we are. We've opened up. They're now scanning and drilling and doing things. Over here is resin. I have no idea what that is. Initially, I thought it was saying resin. I was like, well, you're making resin out of these bugs? That's, well, I guess that makes sense. But no, it's actually resin. Okay, new turn. Ooh, dead explorers just appeared. I hope we can get to that other expedition site before they do. We have 4 turns until we grow, and 3 turns until we've built our old Earth relic. We've also got 23 turns until pioneering. At this point, the turns will probably come thick and fast. There are only 3 of us on the planet right now. Oh, please leave me alone. Someone else making planetfall on the same continent as me. Wow, balls. Hello. The United People of South America bid you welcome. You are aggressive people. I mean, I'm not trying to stereotype you here, but your bonuses are aggressive bonuses, and you'd be a fool not to make use of those bonuses. That's all I'm saying. That may pose a problem later on. I'm not sure. You're more of a problem because you're right next to me. And you guys are heading up. That is not so good either. Quest log update. Found an outpost. For your colony to prosper, we should consider expanding. We should focus our efforts on researching how to create new outposts for the colony. Research pioneering. We're already working on that, so that's very much in our way. Is there a resource pod down there, perhaps? Maybe. Okay. Alright, well, quest log updated. We've already checked that. Oh, right, I see. We've just expanded. Ah, thank goodness. The bugs are ignoring us. Okay, who's next? We have Ark, I believe.
How may the corporation serve you?
By not being on the planet, honestly. You corporate dogs. Welcome to our humble outpost. May good things come from our meeting. See, you're saying that. What you're... The implication, oh, may good things come to both of us. What you're really saying is, I hope that good things come to me. Probably as a result of you being dead. I'm on to you. Right, okay, we have built up that tile. That's actually a really nice tile. That's producing as much as our capital. That is fantastic. We've got 2 tiles that we can work on farms. Oh, I'm tempted to have you... No, don't go through the miasma. Now, well, actually, I'll let you go through the miasma. Miasma only hurts you if you're stood in it at the end of the turn. So we are fine. That didn't hurt us. But that would have if we had ended our turn there. So on the next turn now, we will be able to move you. I'm thinking of going for the resource pod with our worker. That is possibly a risky thing to do. But I'm a mad, crazy fool after all. How long have you got? You got another 2 turns. Thank you.
Some sort of wreckage, or perhaps
He's talking about this one.
You should order your explorer to
I will. They're busy, can't you tell?
see if there is something worthwhile to be
My Lord Advisor, I realize that you're all about efficiency, but these are men and women over here. They've got to have a rest every now and then. See, robot overlords. It's already beginning. Right, they're exploring there. I hope they come a cropper of the aliens. Honestly, that's mean for me to say, but still, I kind of mean it. Right, choose new production. We can go for 8 turns on a clinic or 6 turns on a soldier. I really would actually like to get a little bit more science, though. 6 turns on an explorer, 7 turns on a soldier, sorry. I am going to go for... I'm going to hedge my bet. I'm going to go for explorer. I'm going to bet on being able to pick up more interesting stuff before everyone else clears up this continent. Because I could easily become just obsessed with upgrading my city and then just have one explorer, and then what if they die? I'd be pretty sad about that.
The virtue screen.
Okay.
Choose the virtues that will shape your civilization. You spend your accumulated culture to acquire them.
Thank you very much. He was going to say more. I should have let you finish. But basically the virtues, in fact, I'll quickly show you. We have reached 23 out of 20. Now the amount of virtue you need for, culture you need for each virtue goes up the more cities you have. And you've got 4 virtues: industry, knowledge, prosperity, and might. Each one has a synergy, 3 synergy bonuses that come from basically filling out all of the points in that part of the 1, 2, and 3 tiers of that virtue. So for might, you've got +5 combat strength and range strength for all units. Again, exactly the same thing. And then choose one free affinity level. So if you get these two, you've got 10% increased strength and range strength for all your units. Prosperity has +10% growth in food growth in every city, +1 health for every city, and +50% orbital coverage radius from cities. That would be useful. Knowledge, +10% culture in every city, 10% science in every city. Choose one free technology and industry. 10% extra energy, 10% extra production, and earn 1% of stockpiled energy amount every turn up to 100 energy. That could become incredibly powerful, but you would have to dedicate quite a lot to get that. You also have the synergy bonuses here for the tiers. Now these come from just having any spread of virtues unlocked in that tier. So for example, we need 6 tier 1 virtues to unlock this first synergy bonus, which is 1 free virtue. Then we'd need another 4 for the second synergy bonus for tier 1, which is 10% extra production in the capital and 10% extra energy in the capital. Then the third one, which is a few more, is choose one free technology. And then you've got similar for these down here. So you've got 2 synergy bonuses for tier 2. You've got choose one free virtue and recruit 1 new covert agent, and choose 1 free affinity level. Affinity levels are up there, and we'll cover those soon. And then the final one is synergy bonus for having a lot. In tier 3, you get +10% to everything in every city. That, by the late game, which is when you're going to be unlocking this, is going to be extremely powerful if you've got a lot of cities. But we need to pick what we're going to go for, and like each of these virtues have their own thing. Labor logistics, +10% production towards buildings. 10% science when healthy, that might be useful to go for. +10% food retained after city grows, that will help us grow our population faster, and +50% EXP from combat. Well, I fancy going for foresight myself. We're going to go with this one. We'd need 4 more knowledge virtues until the next synergy bonus, and 5 more tier 1 virtues for the next tier 1 synergy bonus. So we're going to go with that one to start with. We haven't got any soldiers yet to make use of the extra EXP. Now, our worker can, the brave soul that they are, come down here. What did we get? You found a portable reactor and fuel source inside the resource pod. You are able to activate it despite some damage from landing, providing 60 energy. Oh, that's actually pretty good. Very nice indeed. We're losing 2, we're gaining 9, well 9.6 from all cities, and we're losing 2, 1 spent on unit maintenance and 1 spent on building maintenance. Worth keeping that in mind later on. But that should be finished next turn, so it looks like we're going to be able to get to that other site as well before the... I forget what the name of your culture is. Let me check that out. The Cavithian Protectorate can manage to get there. I'm probably not going to remember that name.
Your explorer has discovered something wonderful.
Fantastic.
There are more sites like this to investigate around
Indeed,
the
there's
world,
one right next to us.
So you might want to consider building additional explorers to send to these locations.
Already working on it, advisor. My lord, it's like you're in my brain. Maybe they are. That's a troubling thought. Your expedition team found a cavernous labyrinth underneath the progenitor ruins. Oh, that's fantastic. While plumbing the depths, they found a few dozen interactive devices made of glowing stone that dissolves a few minutes after being touched. The rest of the maze was silent and empty. The knowledge the team gained from the devices illuminates part of a distant technology called social dynamics, and our scientists acquire preliminary research on it. Ooh, let me check this out. Social dynamics. Is there something here? Social dynamics. Let's have a look. Is there anything? It might just be fluff text, but I'll double check just in case. Social dynamics, no. Civil support, no. Okay, well, I'm not sure what all that was about, honestly, but we'll see, unless there's something in here, perhaps. No, I see it not. Well, It might be there, and I've just looked over it, as I often do, unfortunately. Right, unit needs new orders. You need to get back up here and build a farm for us, because we've now got 2 people who can work, and you can explore these ruins. This is a crashed satellite. Oh, really? Another resource pod? I could possibly go for that resource pod before coming back and starting work on this. In fact, I may well do that. Right, City of Singhenith now has 2 citizens. The new citizen will automatically work the land near the city for additional food, production, and energy. Where are you working? Yeah, that's probably one of the better places. Actually, let's take you away and pop you down here instead. That way, well, you don't have to be locked. Oh, well, whatever. I will lock you then. But when that's improved, then you'll automatically start working that tile, which will be very nice for us. And next turn. Come on, there aren't that many of you. It shouldn't take you this long. Oh, they're chasing my ruins. And we have Tiangong. I can only assume that I've got some sort of Babel fish stuck in my ear right now, because I know exactly what you said, even though I have no clue what you said. The Pan-Asian Cooperative honors your ancestors. Be welcome. Oh, that's wonderful. You're honoring our ancestors. Oh, how nice. That's much nicer than the other people we've talked to so far. Pan-Asian Cooperative. Well, as with before, we'll just I'll leave you to your things for now. Right, we can build a couple of things. We can build a generator which will give +2 energy, which will bring this up to 4 +2 food, or a farm which will give us an extra 1 food. And early on, it's probably better to go for food than energy, simply because we want to grow our population. So we'll start on a farm. That'll take a few turns. Now, question is, you could go through the miasma to get here. Okay, fine. We're kind of forced to this one. We're going to go ahead and can you not? Oh, expedition modules. This unit is able to construct a limited number of expeditions on tiles with artifacts, which provide great rewards once completed. Returning the unit to one of your cities will refill its supply. Oh, damn it! We found so many. Okay, well, I guess they're going to get this one then. We may as well grab the resource pod. Complete gifts from home. All pieces of the instrument are accounted for. Our scientists will make good use of this instrument sent from Earth. You received +10 science. Ah, that's quite nice. Inside the resource pod, you found a collection of goods and luxuries from old Earth that your people never thought they would see again. These rally and refocus your people, providing +20 culture. Ah, that's glorious. And that has actually given us a new virtue. Okay, well, we can expand down here. Now, I'm fairly certain that you don't actually... that they aren't prerequisites. You just need a path. So, for example, I could go there and then there. I don't need to have both of these, even though they're both linking to it. I think. I may be corrected on that in the comments if I am wrong. Field research. Earn 30 science from finishing expeditions. Oh, that would be nice. Each city tile generates +0.25 culture for every population. Ooh. So we've got 2 populations, so each tile would produce... oh, that might be nice. Each tile will produce half a culture in our city. Or we can start looking at these. Gain a free work unit, 30% speed towards outpost growth. Survivalism, plus strength when fighting aliens, plus production when building military units. Energy from basic resources, energy in the capital. Production towards wonders. I think we're going to go for frugality. Plus 10% food retained after city grows. There we go. That will help us out a little bit, I think. Right, I'm going to need to bring you back, because we need to get out to one of these 2 expedition sites if we are quick enough. Alright, quest is complete. That's good. And next turn, though. First, let me just check. Have we got all of the races here? Ah, damn it, I've gone into the upgrade screen.
That needs your attention.
Yes. The unit upgrade screen is where you guide the evolution of your military units. As you gain levels in harmony, purity, or supremacy affinities, new upgrades will unlock here. Once an upgrade is chosen, you may also select a perk which will further improve this and specialize the unit. Basically, in Civilization Beyond Earth, there is not a wealth of military units the way there were in previous civilizations. Obviously, Alpha Centauri had the largest selection because you built the units yourself out of parts. But in this, you have basic units that fill very specific roles. So you've got ranged combat units, you've got mechanized melee, you've got infantry, you have siege weapons, you have boats, planes. Instead of having many different types of them that you unlock through technology, once you've unlocked the basic unit, the rest is done through an upgrade path, kind of RPG-like in a way, that unlock based on your harmony levels. The first one is generally always unlocked with one, of your affinity levels, unlocked with one of any affinity, but then the others take specializations. Some of them take combined specializations. So for example, you might get a later unit which would require 10 supremacy and 3 in harmony to unlock and things like that. But we can't do anything with that yet, and it's going to be a long time before we can. What I wanted to do is check on victories. We've got 2 more civilizations. I'm probably going to play until the last 2 are revealed before I wrap up this first episode. You swine, stealing my awesomeness. Alright, quest updated. Familiar exotics. When we came to this planet, we brought a number of plants from old Earth. Somehow, one of these plants has taken root outside of Singhenith and turned invasive. If left unchecked, it could convert the local environment into a more Earth-like ecosystem. Whether or not that is a good thing must be decided. Now, these are the main body of quests. 'Cause right now, up to this point, we've had linear quests that just had an outcome after we achieved something like, for example, finding the 2 resource pods. But now we actually need to choose, and this can start branching and really specializing your starting culture. You can turn it into something that really supports your particular style of play. So that in 2 games you might pick exactly the same race to go with, or well, race is the wrong word, but culture to go with, and end up with the cultures being built entirely differently because of the way you choose these quests. So we can contain the outbreak, which will give us harmony, or ignore, which will continue on to purity or supremacy. Well, right now as I said, we're on the aliens' world for the moment, and I'm not in a rush to try and take it over and make it our world. We're guests here for the time being, and it is probably wise that we learn more about the place before we start messing things up. So we're going to contain the outbreak. That has given us possibly a little harmony. No, it actually hasn't given us anything just yet. Let's have a look at this. We still know so little about our new planet. If we allow this plant to spread, it could threaten our entire ecosystem. We will have to contain the outbreak. Build a Xeno sanctuary in Singhenith. Okay, so that's the next part of that quest line. And our unit needs orders. We should be able to get to here and avoid all of the miasma. There is a lot of miasma over here. Oh, they've moved on. Ooh, that's interesting. Maybe we haven't lost that. I'd be very happy with that. Oh, more resource pods as well. Perhaps it may be a worthwhile strategy to look for the resource pods when you've only got 1 explorer. But I'm going to have 2 soon, so it's not going to be that much of a problem for me. Next turn. Okay, let's check out what this is. Found a portable reactor and a fuel source inside resource pod. You are able to reactivate it for 50 energy. That is pretty nice. And new turn. Where on earth are the last 2 people? Right, we have built a new explorer. I think it is absolutely time now for a clinic. We need that extra science because this is painful. It has taken us so long to get to pioneering. And you need to get home at this point so that we can get you restored. So you can do more expeditions. You can make a beeline for this one. Oh, actually, no, you go for the furthest one and then you can go for the nearest one. That'll probably work out a little bit better for us. I know I should probably keep you around just to look for resource pods, but damn it, I want these. Ooh, okay, a new virtue has been developed. That's fantastic. With only 1 city, we're actually chewing through the virtues really quickly. Gain a free worker. Homesteading, 30% speed towards outpost growth. Each city tile generates more culture or earn... Well, given that we're about to do 2 expeditions, we could go for that. Yeah, we're gonna go for field research. We're going to embark on 2 expeditions in the very, very near future. So that makes the most sense for me right now. Okay, we're going to continue building some farms, I think. And we're going to get you set up with more expedition modules. Ah, no! Damn you! Wow. That's what I get for planning on something. Oh, what? You've already finished it? No, you're on the move. That's interesting. Why? Why have you moved? I don't understand your logic there, but okay. Do I need to get over here? Will you take... I mean, it looked like that tile was empty, but it still had the exploration icon on it. I've lost both of these now. Can you not do this? No, you can. I was thinking you hadn't been here long enough. Alright, no, start an expedition. Your expedition team salvaged the wreckage of a crashed satellite of some kind. It had a protected cache of information from its observations in orbit, which your expedition team relayed immediately to your scientists for analysis. They were able to do preliminary research on a distant technology called bionics. Fantastic.
The universe is either in progress or in entropy. We choose progress.
That is a very good state of mind to have. Allows the trade depot building, allows the colonists, trade convoy, and trade vessel units. Okay, maybe... You know what? Maybe these expeditions aren't limited to the first person who finds them. That's the only thing I can think. Unfortunately, you can't really do much until they get off it. So, go ahead and just do nothing for this turn. As for you, let's start work on a farm. Right, new technology time. Now, there is definitely bionics here somewhere. I just can't... Over here. So, oh, there we are. 217 out of 770. So, civil engineering must be here somewhere as well. Oh, social. Social dynamics. Ah, really? I just went straight past it before. At least I noticed it by the end of the video, though no doubt someone in the comments will have already commented that it's up there, the top left. And then they'll do some sort of emoji when they realize I did eventually find it out myself by the end of the video. Right, we could go for ecology, but as Farmer Love, Alien Preserve, what was it that we needed to build? A Xeno something. Let me just have a quick look at that. What was the quest? A Xeno Sanctuary building. Where would the Xeno Sanctuary building be? Maybe over here? System, no. Maybe down here. Xenophil, Xeno Nursery, Xenomass Well, Xeno Swarm. Can't see what it is I'm meant to be building. Is it over here? Xeno... Wow! Alien Ethics? That's a hell of a long quest. Alright then. It's going to take us quite some time before we get there. I'm just going to put that out there now. But I think we are going to go for the engineering technology tree. That'll unlock the combat rover, the thorium reactor, the repair facility, and reveals titanium on the map. Useful to get an idea of where the resources are early on, especially when we're starting to consider expanding our civilization a bit. Alright then. Are you going to set up? No, thank goodness. Oh, well, you can't, actually. You more than likely not got enough exploration modules. Keeping your citizens healthy is key to a productive colony. Additional citizens make your colony more unhealthy, while virtues in some buildings provide positive health to counteract it. Try to keep your people healthy to avoid research and cultural penalties. Currently, our health level is stable. We gain 20% speed towards outpost growth. You gain positives at 10, 20 and 30 health, and massive negatives as your health decreases below 0. You don't lose people, or at least I haven't seen that happen yet, but you lose huge amounts of productivity. Alright, let's get over here and set up our next expedition. Right, and next turn. I'm thinking we will probably have to wrap this episode up here, I think. I did want to hang around until the last few people joined the fray. We've got 1, 2, 3 there, 4, 5, 6. We've got 2 more we're waiting on, but alas, they're dragging their feet. The fools, don't they realize the longer they wait, the less chance they have to grab all of the good resource pods? But that is it for now. I hope the audio levels are okay. I've done a little bit of testing and I think I've got it set up correctly, but do let me know if it needs slight tweaking, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode. But until next time, do take care.